Hello, everyone, and welcome to our unboxing of the Secrets of the Wand Wood. So, this is an Enchanted Woodland Oracle. This is a smaller set. I got this off of, I think I researched it on eBay because, like, the site that sells these, I think it's a husband and wife that do it, but they didn't have any more um, in print. And so I looked for it and I found the smaller ones. So these are a smaller style. This would be a pocket set. The originals are um, bigger than this. So, but let's take a look. I wanted to unbox it on video to show you. I think I might order some more of these. I if you look up the original site, you will find the owners and they make different different cards, different card sets. So I loved the artistic drawing in these because my daughter is an artist and she's always drawing, and it really reminded me of like her artwork and what she does. And so I just really thought that this was so pretty. So let's take a look. We're going to do a flip through and then I will do a reading for you. So you have balance, inspired, magical, more witchy. So again, this could even be like a fall. This could be used, well, anytime, but it could also be like a fall. I like the size of these too. They're a lot bigger than what I expected for a pocket set. Be surprised, believe, bond, breathe, calling, caring, change, channeling, chaos, cherish. And I plan on doing, that's cute. I plan on doing unboxing videos like of each Oracle set that I have. I haven't done it yet though because I like to do the readings instead. So, but I do like to do the walkthroughs on my cards. But the unboxing videos, I don't know. They don't really like they're great to watch if you're looking for a deck, but they don't really draw a lot of like energy and things like that. So it's more of just like a to do just for a, a fun entertainment kind of purpose. But so these came a long way. They were ordered from the United Kingdom. They came from the Europe area to the United States. So it took about a week and a half for them to get here. Oh, that one's not focusing. There we go. I like how the trees have like faces and things. There is a story that goes to these cards. Um, Unfortunately, the deck that I bought does not have a guidebook. It just it's just a pocket set, so it doesn't have a guidebook. But if you buy the originals, it comes with a colored guidebook, and there's a story behind every one of their cards and the purpose of the cards. So if you have the money to invest in buying a full-size deck, um, and if you find a deck that's available, if you like this and you find an available deck, I couldn't find any that everyone I clicked on had been purchased. None of them had any availability. So, and the only other deck that I found that was this one that had the guidebook was like I think $180. So and the cards were full size, but I intuitively set my decks for the intention to receive all messages with clarity. So I didn't feel like I wanted to spend that much on just a guidebook because it really would have been more for just the guidebook. So I bought the pocket deck instead. But there is a beautiful guidebook that does go with this deck. And there's our last one, Ancestors. Okay, so I am going to do a reading, but first I'm going to sage my deck, so that they are attuned to our highest good. Okay, so I cleared my deck with my sage and my Santos wood, and I set the intention with my heart space for all readings to be set for our highest good and for our highest guidance and love. So let's take a look. We're going to do a collective reading, and I love opening up new decks. It's almost like Christmas time. It's like, I don't know. It's just so much fun to see the different artists. I love how they are able to express the uh the words in their own way. Like each deck has its own special purpose, and it's really beautiful to see the the messages come in because sometimes we are just so distracted by everyday life and everything going on that we don't always hear the messages. We don't always hear our heart. We don't always understand what we are meant to understand. And so like these cards really help pull in that spiritual attention that we often don't have because of everyday life. So, and I like how each artist has their own way of pulling in that energy. Ooh, okay. So I feel like this one wants to come out and this one. All right. So let's take a look at our reading. I do my readings very different. It depends on what it is. I feel like this one here, we're supposed to do a three and two. So we're going to do a three spread and a two spread. Okay. So let's take a look at our first card. We have channeling. So take time to pay attention to your energy, to your heart space, to your thoughts and your mind. What are you channeling in on? So, what you put out is what you receive. Where your attention goes is where your energy flows. Channeling good energy requires you to also pay attention to your mindset and your heart set. Wherever you're planning on going, you have to be prepared. Notice how the tree has the fruit provided for it. So that as it's moving, the birds have what they need as well. Right? So this has to do with, whatever it is that you are wanting, are you doing the work on the inside to bring that balance on the outside? Right? You can't channel finances, but then at the same time, you're not paying your bills, you're overspending, you're buying things that are not in alignment with what you truly need, right? So, you have to make sure that whatever you are channeling, you are aligned with, okay? Happiness, you got to cut the cords with bitter people. You got to cut the cords with drama, chaos, and people that don't want that in their lives, right? Because whoever you are around, that's also the energy that will be found, okay? So you got to pay attention to your vibes. You got to pay attention to what you're doing, okay? So anytime you're channeling something, if you want it to be successful, you got to make sure that you are doing the same thing. We have change. So I don't know what that animal is. I don't know what that is. That's so funny. All right. So, speed. Things are coming in pretty fast for you. You're going to have some pretty fast changes going on, but it's good changes. This is a good energy, it's a mystical energy, right? She is on this broom. She's holding on. She's looking backwards because she knows that nothing is going to catch her in this new phase, right? She is straight ahead. Look, she is focused on straight ahead, right? And there's this energy of abundance and success and fast moving energy here. So you are really, whatever's coming in for you, it's going to be good, it's going to be abundant, it's going to be quick, and it's going to be transformational. So you're going to have you're going to have a transformational situation here. So maybe for some of you, you are channeling really good energy. You are keeping in alignment. You are checking yourself so that you stay in that alignment. And you are being asked to let go of things that no longer serve you. Simplify your life. Okay. Trust that whatever is falling away is meant to fall away. Whoever God, source, spirit, your spirit team, ancestors, whoever they are exiting your life from, trust that is what is meant to be for your highest good. Do not fight the situation. Be grateful that you are able to see true colors. Be grateful that masks are falling off because a lot of things that are transitioning and falling out of your life are putting you into alignment with what you have been asking for. Right? A lot of times we come into this channeling of I want this, this, and this, but then we don't want to let go of what the universe is asking us to let go of so that this can happen. Right? So this person is admiring the fact that there is peace among them, right? There is calmness among them, stillness among them. So you are moving into spiritual awareness. You're moving into an alignment of who you are. You are realizing that it is time to grow up. A lot of you are really realizing that you cannot participate in situations that are no longer serving your highest good. For some of you, you might have people that they are just, drama, 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 or they just chaos. They thrive in chaos or uncertainty. And that energy is too low for you to bring about the channeling sources and the positive outcomes that you want. You cannot be at a lower vibration and expect to have higher successful outcomes. It doesn't work like that. You have to learn to elevate yourself within, and then you have to learn to cut those cords off outside of you that do not align with what's going on within you. You cannot be on the fence and yet want something better because otherwise you're just going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck going back and forth because you're going to get something, but you're not going to be able to hold on to it because you're not letting go of the energies that are not serving you to be able to hold on to it. I'm going to move this out of the way. I feel like it's got the camera a little cloudy. So in order for you to really align with what is being called for you in this card, you got to let go of the chaos. You got to let go of that negative energy. You got to let go of those people, places, things. If you're in a business, if you're working somewhere and there's a lot of like negativity, this might be your card telling you that yes, you need to relocate. You need to find another source of income or another place to work, right? I know some of you maybe you work somewhere because it's efficient for you, it works for you, but the energy might not be serving you. So if you cannot change your like who you work with, then you might need to completely change your work that you are doing. Go into a totally different field or apply for a job um, that's not in that same area, right? So like if you're at Walmart, for example, maybe trying to apply for another section, that might not work because you might end up being stuck with people that are still, in that lower frequency, or you might be constantly dealing with the people that want to know why you left or, things like that. So, like, you might actually have to pick up yourself and go to like Target or somewhere else and just completely leave one area because relocating in that same area might not be what you need to do. Simplicity also has to come with you. You need to let go of certain things that are not helping you to move forward in your own life. So, for example, you know, maybe you maybe you are one of these people that have 100 things to do on a 7-day list. So you might need to take some of that stuff off. Be more realistic with yourself because the bigger your list is, the more stressful you're going to be. And if you can't meet all of those expectations, you're going to also lower your frequency because you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be defeated. And so that's going to lower your frequency. This reading has to do with alignment. You can't be in alignment if you're over accelerating your expectations or your ability to achieve those goals, right? So you got to bring yourself back down again and start smaller. Once you are able to achieve those goals and you hold that frequency, you can add something each week to your list, right? Add something new. But you got to learn how to balance what you're putting on your list with your frequency. Otherwise, you're not keeping your life simple. You are causing chaos. You're causing imbalance because of your emotional state or your stress levels, things like that, and or your time, right? So this has to do with also like the person's really happy, they're calm, they're content, right? So this has to do with you also being in alignment with yourself. You have to make sure that you are really looking at the whole picture. You can't just set a goal and start towards it without actually looking at, what's going on in my physical over here, what's going on in my physical within, what's going on in my emotional. Like you got to look at each area so that you bring everything into alignment. That's where you're going to see yourself excel without going backwards, right? Because you want to make sure you're moving forward and not going forward and then going backwards and then going forward and then going back. You don't want the seesaw kind of energy, right? You want to make sure that you are continuing, continuing, continuing. And again, that has to do with balance. You got to make sure that you're not trying to pull all the weight in like the family dynamics and things like that. So as you do this, your purpose is going to unfold. For some of you, you might be asking, what am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? I don't know what my purpose is. Well, your purpose has to do with your heart. It has to do with going within. When you go within and you set with yourself, you have to ask yourself questions like, am I happy? Do I feel fulfilled? What are my dreams? What are my goals? Are they aligned? Are they the same? Am I forgiving of situations? Do I hold hate in my heart? Do I see myself in the highest possible good, or am I still looking at myself in a lower energy? Do I love myself? Have I addressed my addictions if I have any addictions, which I think all of us do. Like I'm addicted to like coffee. I love coffee. Um, so like, like are you balanced with your addictions? Everybody has addictions, some kind of addiction, usually like, and I'm not talking like it has to be a negative addiction. It could be from, reading books all the time and having books everywhere, movies, being a movie collector. It doesn't necessarily have to be like related to something negative. It could be something positive. Like I love coffee, so I try to make sure that I cut myself off at a certain cup per day. I drink mushroom coffee so that it's healthy for me and it's not high in caffeine, so I'm not getting this huge like too much caffeine in my body kind of thing. I make sure I balance that out with water for like the rest of the day. And so like are you allowing your addiction to balance itself in your life, right? Are you giving too much to it? Some people like to go shopping. That might be an addiction is shopping. But are you letting your bills go to buy something you don't really need? Or are you within balance of your addiction? Are you able to balance out the things that you are spending? Are you able to cut yourself off and say, no, I need to pay this and this first, and then if I have money left over, I will purchase this, right? Like that's a big thing. So this is telling you that your purpose has has to um, do with who you are and how you see yourself. Okay, so your purpose can change. Some people, they know their purpose and that's their purpose for the rest of their life, and they just know it. They could just feel it and they've always been good at it. Like an artist, like some people are really really good at art. That's their purpose, is to express themselves through art. Other people, they may not know what their purpose is because their purpose isn't set in stone, right? Your purpose might be to get up and go for a walk and say hello to people, because one of those people might decide that they don't want to be here. And maybe you going for that walk that day and saying hello to them and just recognizing that they are alive and that they're seen might change their mind. Right? Or maybe your purpose is to ride the bus and sit next to someone and have a conversation with them and make them feel like they are loved, or thought about or cared about, and help them to not give up on themselves, right? Sometimes your purpose is not going to be put into words. Sometimes you're not even going to know your purpose, but yet you may have done 7 things in one day that was a part of your purpose. We are constantly being, I don't want to say used, but we are constantly being placed by the universe where we need to be, when we need to be, to help fulfill what the universe, what the creator needs us to fulfill. So, like, you know how they say, like, you could be entertaining an angel and not even realize it. And it's because the creator, the source, our spirit team, they put us where we need to be to support someone. I know the other day, just for example, there was a woman, um, she was on her way to work and she broke down on the intersection and she was scared and she had her child and she didn't know what to do, and she heard all these like awful stories about, don't get out and stand because you could get hit. Don't accept help from certain people because they could hurt you. So like there was this like scare going on with her mind, like what should she do? What should she do? And she was praying about it. And this man and woman, this older couple, they had stopped, and she was all worked up and scared, and they calmed her down. The man was able to look at her vehicle. He was able to understand what was going on. I don't know what was happening. I don't remember that part, but he was able to get her vehicle fixed for her, and they were able to calm her down, and they were able to reassure her that she was going to be fine. And then they also helped her to know what she could do to avoid this next time. Like, could you afford AAA? Could you make sure that you have this and this in your vehicle, like whatever. But it was that was their purpose. That was an older married couple just going for a ride. They just decided to go out and go for a ride, and they ended up being the support that that woman needed along the road. So you just never know. You never know where you're going to be and what your purpose is going to be. Some of you are going to have a higher purpose than others. Some of you are going to be, heart doctors and save lives, while others, you might be someone that sits next to somebody and reassures them that they're going to be a good mother, that they're going to get through everything, not to give up because their children need them, right? That might have been your purpose, was just to help somebody come back from that downward fall. Right. So never doubt your purpose, never doubt who you are meant to be in that day. And each day you show up, especially for yourself, loving yourself and loving who you are, you're going to change your purpose. You're going to grow your purpose, your understanding of things, and you're going to find yourself in different directions, right? And trust that the universe is going to lead you wherever you need to go. And then, yeah, we have the word calling. So as you start to move into your true higher self energy, and as you begin to do things that help you align with life and being here and being grateful, you're going to go into what is meant for you. You're going to go into your calling. You're going to go into what aligns with your highest good. And you're going to feel it. You're going to know it. Intuitively, you're going to know it. And for some of you, you're going to physically get the call. Right? You're going to get somebody that comes in physically and says, "Hey, listen, I know your story. I know your life. I need you to do this." Or, "Hey, I love what you do. Let's do this." Right? So for some of you, you're going to get like a physical, "Hello, I want to do this with you," collaboration kind of thing. For others, the universe is going to move quietly, but you're going to know intuitively. And that's going to lead you to the next step and the next step and the next step until you fulfill what it is that your heart truly desires to do. The main thing is to stay grounded and stay connected to yourself. Take time to go quiet. Take time to listen to your heart space. Not everything needs noise. Not everything needs words. So take time to know who you are on the inside. Take time to connect to your heart and sit with yourself and ask yourself questions. Get to know yourself. The more you get to know yourself, the more you're going to get to know your journey. And you're not going to be doing things just in the motion of things, right? It's time for us to stop following what other people want us to do or what society wants us to do and truly start to be in alignment with who we are. Right? When we get up in the morning, we need to sit down with source, sit down with ourselves and acknowledge who we are, acknowledge our heart space, acknowledge where we want to go next, what makes us who we are, because knowing who you are makes you unique and that allows you to walk in your authenticity. It's not saying that you can't be like somebody else, but let them be them and you be you, right? And that is where your strength will form. And that's where you'll feel your alignment coming in and your path truly unfolding for you. So I hope this has helped you. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments what you think of this deck. I think it's so cute. I can't wait to use it again. Have a great evening. Bye.